Away from security matters, more than 10,000 people have been displaced and farmlands and properties worth millions of naira have been destroyed following weeks of intense rainfall in Gummi Local Government Area, Zamfara State. Emir of Gummi, Hassan Lawal, made this known during an on-the-spot assessment visit by Governor Dauda Lawal. According to the Emir, more than 10,000 people have been affected. The governor sympathized with the flood victims and announced an immediate relief package, including 10,000 bags of assorted grains, mosquito nets, and blankets. He also pledged to address long-term flood management by constructing new drainage systems, repairing existing dams, and potentially building additional ones to prevent future disasters. To further discuss this, I'm joined by Aaron John, Executive Director, Center for Climate Action, Innovation and Engagement. Hello, Aaron. Thank you for joining us at this time.
Good afternoon, Dashim, and thanks for having me.
All right. So what role do you think climate change has played in the recent flooding in Zamfara State? Are we seeing a trend of more frequent and intense flooding events in Nigeria?
Yes, we are, and the world over, because climate change increases temperature and therefore increases the amount of moisture that is evaporated into the atmosphere. And when the temps are right, this comes back as heavy rainfall and more frequent rainfall. And that's what we are seeing in Zamfara and other places in Nigeria. Now, the problem really is not about that. It's just about how vulnerable um, places like Zamfara on other states in Nigeria could be to these intense and all of a sudden kind of weather events where you see that the state is not able to drain the amount of rainfall that is being received. Zamfara, for example, have a couple of drains, rivers, which are tributaries to Sokoto, for example. So how fast and efficient can this excess water drain out of during excess rainfall is what causes the kind of floods that we are seeing in Zamfara and the rest. So, of course, there's climate change, but then again, social, economic development and infrastructural development of the state and region also plays a huge role in how vulnerable a particular location can be to the adverse effect of climate change.
All right, now speaking of vulnerability, how can communities in flood-prone areas adapt to the increasing risk of flooding? I'm asking what measures can be taken to reduce the impact, especially on farmlands, properties, and also displacement, to avoid displacement of people?
It's sad to say, but local communities have to be the first place where we have to build resilience. Because as we've seen over the years, this is not the first time Zamfara is flooding, for example, right? But at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level, the response have always been palliative responses and providing relief materials. So we need to increase the capacity of local actors and the local community as they are the first respondents in these situations to be able to spot and respond effectively. We need to be able to train them on how to spot early warning signs for flooding. We need to be able to also increase their capacity to retrofit infrastructure and move their houses, elevate their houses to be able to, withstand this excess runoff when we have them. Other things that we can also do as well is also be able to provide safety nets to be able to help recovery. We see that there's 100 million fund that has been released to the victims of flood, but this sort of response only go to show that we don't really understand what is really needed. After the grain is consumed, what else? Farmlands are still there. So irrigation is one. The practice of regenerative sustainable agriculture is another one. Another way we can help farmlands, to be able to practice a more sustainable farming practices. Our drainage also cannot be overemphasized. We need to be able to build effectively and then ensure that drainage is a huge part of planning and planning controls. So I think those are just a few steps that we can take into building resilience for communities.
All right, we do hope that these steps, would be able to prepare and protect these vulnerable communities from the effects of flooding. But thank you so much, Aaron, for speaking to us on this.
Thank you very much.